Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Experience podcast, inside the business, buzz, and brilliance of Black entrepreneurs. Here is your host, Dr. Frances Richards.
What happens in Vegas goes all over the world on Black Entrepreneur Experience, episode number 252. Subscribe to our mailing list to receive weekly updates and exclusive content delivered right to your inbox. Go to drfrancesrichards.com. That's drfrancesrichards.com to subscribe to our mailing list and be entered into our monthly drawing. That's drfrancesrichards.com, drfrancesrichards.com to subscribe to our mailing list and be entered into our monthly drawing. We promise we won't spam you or sell your information. Thank you for joining us as we elevate the Black entrepreneur experience by interviewing CEOs, thought leaders, innovative thinkers, and Black entrepreneurs across the globe. I'm your host, Dr. Frances Richards. Our next guest is an African-American entrepreneurial couple whose company, Navigator Sales and Marketing, is a food and beverage brokerage that connects grocery retailers with small business owners. Welcome, Alan and Subriana Pierce.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
I've given our audience such a brief bio. Why don't you fill in the gaps and share with our audience what you'd like them to know about you and your business?
We are productions of HBCUs. I graduated from North Carolina Central University in 1985, did the corporate thing, went to Ford, went to Ryder, went to Maslin Industries. My wife graduated from Spelman. She continued her education at the University of Chicago, and she kind of started in the grocery business. She has the most experience. We are, at least I think, we're the typical African-American couple and navigating through what we finally came to, which is Navigator Sales and Marketing.
Yeah, because I have been in the grocery industry for a long time and we've moved all over the country. We met in Cleveland over 30 years ago and then moved to Chicago, then Atlanta, then Dallas, now California. But I have been on the food side a long time, worked at Jewel Osco, worked in the stores, category management, then spent most of my career at Frito-Lay between Atlanta and Dallas, running sales, shopper marketing, different roles at Frito-Lay, and then went back into the grocery retail side as senior vice president of Albertsons, Southern California. When I left there, we thought, let's do this ourselves. We had enough relationships. We had a lot of knowledge in the industry. We knew the importance of this industry was all around how do we get these brands to help them navigate this industry, which is how we came up with the name Navigator. And so we've been doing that now for a little over 8 years.
So who's your ideal client? Talk to them. If someone's saying, I'm not quite sure what you do and how you can help me, why don't you simplify it for us?
Yeah, I would say our ideal brand is we work with a lot of mid-sized companies, $3 to $5 million in sales, or really up to $10 million in sales. We have a couple of companies we represent that are $200-300 million in sales. That's kind of our bread and butter. We take them through the supermarket channel, the Albertsons, the Krogers, the Rayleighs, and Myers of the world.
Mm-hmm. Target, Walmart, yeah.
And then we also have emerging brands. Those are the ones that are innovative. They might not be in market yet, but they're unique. I call them market disruptors. And those are the ones that are worth the time and energy to help, to bring on board.
Now, with the start of Navigator Lighthouse Foundation, we are taking everything we've learned in the grocery store industry, all the people that can help African-American, people of color, and women-owned businesses, whether they have just a concept or whether they are down the road in some grocery stores, they can enter in as a candidate for the Navigator Lighthouse Foundation, and essentially it's one-stop shopping. You need a grant, you need financing, you need marketing, you need sales, you need a broker, anything that you need, you can tap into that. And again, that's women-owned companies, people of color, and African-American companies. They can tap into the foundation. And the one thing we're trying to do with that is explain to them the rules of the game, because there are rules and nobody ever tells you what the rules are, and they get hurt and they lose all their money. The other thing we give you is access to financing. Less than 1% of all the investment monies in this country go to African-American companies. We immediately knew when we got into the grocery store business, that was the great disparity as far as trying to start a CPG company.
So yeah, our role and goal and passion is just how do we help those underserved brands get to the shelves?
Yes.
Someone's listening and they are saying, I need it. How do I connect?
Well, our website is navigatorsales.com. And then on there is you can just click on contact us and it'll come straight to our email. And then we'll be in touch with you.
In January, 250 people contacted us. And we were kind of surprised, but there's a great need out there for this kind of help.
The other thing that you can do is also on that same website, there's a spot that says our foundation. So if you're interested in that, there's an application that just asks you questions about your company. What's your website? What's your distribution? Where are you being sold now? What's your capacity? And then you could just fill that out. That also comes straight to us. And then we get to know a little bit more about your company.
If you're a mid-sized company, as Subriana said, for 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, just email navigatorsales.com. That's the brokerage, and we'll talk to you. Okay, that we're dealing with.
What problem exists in the world today that you would like to solve?
Well, there's a lot of problems to solve. Actually for us, when we started our foundation, amidst all of the civil unrest of last year, we thought, well, how can we help? What can we do? You can write a check to an organization. I mean, there's so much you can do. But we said, we've been building this business. We've been putting all of these other brands on the shelves, right? We got that. We know how to do that. And so then to Alan's point earlier, where, less than 1% venture capitalist funds coming to Black-owned businesses, less than 3%, I think, to women-owned businesses. That was the disparity. And that was the problem to solve.
Yeah.
That's what we've been focused on.
There are so many brands and businesses that are dominating. Talk about a brand or a business that's dominating that you admire and why.
I'd probably say Partake Foods. Partake Cookies is getting to be well known. The owner, founder, Denise Woodward, is actually one of our brands that we represent and actually just joined the board for our foundation. And, to think about 4, maybe 5 years ago, she was selling her cookies out of her car, right, out of her trunk. And she saw a need based on her own daughter's allergies to give her daughter, a healthier snack, something that wouldn't affect her. And so when you just think of this woman of color that just hustled, told, 86 venture capitalists told her, no, I'm not giving you any funding. And number 87 happened to be Jay-Z giving her $1 million. And then her brand has just taken off from there, Target and Trader Joe's and everywhere. So I probably use her as an example. It's an emerging brand, but it was a mom that had a story. And that story started to permeate the industry. And so I think she's an example.
Yeah, she exemplifies exactly what you need to make it or to be successful in this industry. She happens to be from the same hometown I'm from. She's my homegirl from Fayetteville, North Carolina. But she has laser focus, regardless of what's said to her, regardless of what people think, regardless of the no's. She will not stop. And that is the basic qualifier to make it in this business. Patience, long-suffering. I don't care what you say, I am not going to stop. And Denise has that. And that's why she's going to be successful.
There's one other brand I'll give it as an example on the flip side is Earth Friendly Products. And I look at the female CEO of that company. Her dad came over from Greece in the early 60s, couldn't speak English, had $13 in his pocket, but he understood chemistry. So he came up with this plant-based laundry detergent and pet products and all of that was all pet-based. And, he died in 2014 and his daughter became the CEO of that company. And so she's really taken it to the next level in terms of marketing and sales support and distribution to where they have a huge company, 4 plants across the country. They've got a plant back in Greece. And so it's just another story of taking it to the next level. And that owner, Kelly Blahakis Hanks, and she's another one that, we really admire and a great brand partner of ours as well.
Yes, we are very familiar with Partakes Food. She was episode number 161, if someone's listening and would like to listen to that episode. So yes, we are very, very proud of Partakes Foods.
Awesome.
And we didn't even know that she was episode 161.
Alan and Subriana, I want you to have a monologue. And you're going to name this person that you're talking to, and this person really inspired you. What would you say to them? So you're going to name the person and give a monologue to that person. What would you say?
If I had to name a person, he's deceased, it would probably be my college coach for football at Central, Hank Lattimore. And the reason I say, because when I came to him, I was a 17-year-old country boy who didn't know anything. And a lot of people think athletes are one way or the other and don't have any information in their head, only want to be athletes. That wasn't true. What I got from that experience for 4 years grew me up, made me a man, gave me the ability to go out in the world and compete, fight, and succeed. And most of the time, he did it without raising his voice at all. He would say things to me that would make me think. And I was an emotionally skinny little boy. And after watching him for 4 years, I learned what a man is. And it's not reacting, it's not being emotional, it's thinking. And that's what I would say to Hank Lattimore if he was here.
For me, I would probably say my dad. And he is down in Jackson, Mississippi right now with my mom. But my work ethic, my belief in Christ, and how to be a father and a husband and provider, that's what he taught me. I mean, I think that's how I ended up with such a great guy. My dad taught me that. I saw it with him and my mom, who been together over 55 years now. And Alan and I just celebrated 30 a couple of weeks ago. But that work ethic, and a lot of times you think from your parents, it's passed down, this is what to do in corporate America. Well, they didn't know that. They didn't know the types of roles we had at Frito-Lay or, roles that he had at Ford. I think our parents were still shocked that somebody gave us a company car. Like that just what didn't happen. But the work ethic and the ability to always do the right thing. I don't think I would be the woman I am without my father and that teaching.
Congratulations of 30 years of marriage. So I want you to talk about marriage, making money, and managing a business.
Ooh, that's a loaded question.
Yeah, how much time you got?
We have all day.
Well, the first thing you did 3 topics. You said a marriage, making money, and what else did you say?
Managing business.
Managing business. Okay, marriage is first. Okay, we have 6 kids. Okay, and if you're able to navigate a marriage, business is easy. Okay, especially in this day and age. But people always ask Subriana and I, how can you guys work all day together, then go home? Because I like her. I love her, but I like her. And I respect her, and she's brilliant. One of the main things I like about Subriana is she's brilliant. She doesn't even know she's brilliant. And that's the first thing that attracted me to her, okay, when I conversated with her. You always have to find somebody that makes you better. And as you grow together, you grow together. At that point, we were sort of doing a lot of the same things in a marriage that you have to do in a business and that you have to do in management. and also what you have to do in making money. She said, do the right thing. Well, Sabrina's going to do the right thing. If she's got bad news to tell you, she's going to tell you the bad news and then ask how you would like to work through this. And that's one thing I've always admired. We have walked away from a number of contracts that would have paid us a lot of money because Sabrina felt it wasn't the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think it's also been important that we had the same goals. We're complete opposites in the way that we go to business every day, but we have the same goal. And so just as in a business and in a marriage, you have to trust each other, you have to respect each other and know that there is more than one way to get to the answer. But when you're working towards that same goal, it's a lot easier. So we respect each other a lot. And I think that's what has helped raise the family and build a company and then help others build their companies. I think it's, our trust in each other, which makes it all work. And we're equally yoked. That was important.
That's biblical.
Are your children working in the business at all?
They've all dabbled in the business. I mean, one of our sons, worked at Albertsons, and our daughter actually helps us with events and does some demos and samplings in stores for some of our products. I have another one of our sons helps with some merchandising in store. We had another son for one of our brands that ran operation and the e-commerce side of our business. So none of them are like full time in it, but they've all dabbled enough. So when we come home and we're talking about different things, they already know.
Mm-hmm.
They already know what brand, they check in. Well, how's this brand doing and how's that brand doing? So it helps that the family gets engaged. Even one of our sons, very creative, he helped to design a character for one of our water companies. So yeah, in some stage, they all stay a little bit involved.
What do you need right now that you don't have to move the needle forward?
Oh, that's simple. Money. Okay.
See, I was not going to say it like that.
Well,
but that's
in this time and age, when you explain stuff to people because you got to get them where they are. We need more money. Okay. These brands need more money. Okay. We need more money for education, not also on the brands that are trying to come up, but on the millionaires and billionaires who are a little, what's this all about? See, our recipes are fantastic. They're unbelievable. Okay. And there's a number of examples of African-American recipes, women recipes, and people of color recipes that aren't getting a chance because, well, I don't know. That's not how we've done it before in the past. Okay, let's put some money behind it. Then all of that goes away. Okay, it's real simple.
And I would say for Navigator as a broker, it's the exact same answer. Like we have created this company that we have products now in about 15,000 stores across the country. We could have products in 30,000 stores across the country if Navigator had that team. And, he talked about once our article, we call it went viral, but all hundreds of companies that have contacted us in the last 30 days, we had no idea was even out there. And there's so many of them. Some of them we're actually able to go ahead and broker. But if we had a bigger staff and we had a bigger team, I would want to help every one of those brands. But we're as big as we are ourselves. So on both sides, from the foundation and for Navigator, we need to grow. We've got a recipe for success, and I think we can take it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best decision you've made as a leader?
The hardest decision to make is deciding you're going to go out on your own. You're going to leave what you think is security and a dental plan and a health plan and a company car and take your little savings and lose it and go out on your own. Most people are terrified of that. Who was the poet who said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired? When you get to that point, then all of that doesn't matter, okay? All of that doesn't matter. And these wonderful people we're seeing starting their consumer packaged goods business with just hope and a dream, you got to respect that because that's the biggest hurdle you got. The rest of it is just accumulating distribution and accumulating profits and accumulating money if you don't quit.
You said perfectly.
Let's talk about legacy. When it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered?
As someone who gave back throughout my career, I've always tried to be there to help other people. I think that it's important to have the legacy of this is a person who cared more about me and helping me in my career or helping me in launching my business or whatever it is. I just believe that that's how I want to be remembered. This is a person that helped.
That says it perfectly. We tried to help. Sometimes we were wrong. Sometimes we were right. We tried to help and we kept trying.
The word is listening. What is your generation saying? What is that resounding message or sound that they're saying that we should hear and listen to?
5 years, I'm on the cusp, so I get to be a Gen X?
You're a Gen X. Well, I'm the end of the baby boomers, okay, who had it all, didn't have to go to a real war, and went through civil rights as preteen. My generation is saying, don't forget, okay, you are doing better than a lot of other generations, the great generation did, but like every other generation, you need to move it forward. And the end of the baby boomers, that's what they always tried to do. They found Christ, they tried to move it forward, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I think my generation and probably more so younger generations are fed up and saying, listen, the biggest, the same letters in listen are silent, right? And you've got to stop and listen to what other people are saying. And I think so many of us, especially during whether it's everything going on with COVID or everything with the civil unrest, are just fed up, and it is time for a change.
Advice you wish you had followed?
See, I don't know. I look at that a little bit differently because I feel that everything that happens is what was supposed to happen. I don't think I've ever had some advice that later I was like, darn it, I wish I had listened. I mean, there's always a couple of brands that we've brought on that in hindsight, you're like, I probably shouldn't have, maybe they weren't ready, or we may, shouldn't have worked, or I should have listened to you when you saw the writing on the wall. But everything happens for a reason and you learn from everything. So it's hard to say there was advice that I would go back and change or go back and listen to.
Yeah, the advice that I wish I would have followed earlier, and I didn't follow until I was in my late 30s, early 40s, was from my mother. And her advice was, Alan, develop an ability to discern what's good and what's bad. And she would say that to me constantly. And I never understood what she was saying until I got older. Okay, that was it.
Let's switch gears for a moment and let's talk about the worst moment in business and what was your takeaway, and tell us that story.
I would have to sit and think about that for days. There's been a lot of worse moments. There's been a lot of worse. I want you to understand, we're out here on the West Coast and we decided to become a broker. So we went to a big event. There were 2 Black people at the event. 300, 400, 500 people. That's 1, and this is 2. And first of all, and I'm not casting any dispersions on anybody. The group never saw too many African Americans in the grocery store industry, period. But they see us. So the first thing they decided to do is they decided before they started doing business with us is to wait and see if we stayed in business, which is fine. We didn't know that was going to happen, but that was how the game was played. So they waited a year before they started doing business with us to see if we stayed in business. And we didn't have a lot of money. So that year was tough. But after that year, they started doing business with us. So there's a lot of things in society that are organized, all right, that you don't know about, that it would be nice if somebody let you know about it, all right? Then you could set yourself up better to survive. That's the thing that sort of sticks out to me.
Yeah, I think it's probably the same for me. I think it's the tougher moments are proving yourself, because of the industry that we're in and because there's not a lot of people that look like us. There's from all sides, all races, all brands, no matter what size. All right, can they really do it? Do I want to go get a good old boy broker and what your definition of that is? Or do I go with these folks? And so, you kind of you survive and push and try to grow this business to prove that you can be there too. And those are probably the toughest moments, the ones that are a little bit harder to swallow, because having been a senior vice president at an Albertsons, if I didn't look the way I look, no one would ever second guess that, but they do. And so you're just constantly every day trying to prove that you can do, what you can do.
Talk about your most memorable moment in life or business.
There's been a lot of great things, both. Obviously, having our children, moments where there's landing a big account, those have been the highlights of the business, or landing a big retailer. I mean, there's all these celebratory moments throughout the business that come every day. One of the things that I keep my head wrapped around, which probably ties into your other one of your other questions, was the good and the bad. And so you have those days where maybe you didn't land that account or you didn't land that retailer. And now I already know whenever I get that kind of news, within the next week, I'm going to land something I didn't expect to land. So the ebbs and flows of this business is tremendous, but it's helped me kind of level out my highs and my lows, because that's life, right? The good and bad.
I didn't know 3 decades ago when I met this woman who's at the Cleveland airport going to Disney World to take her little brother, how my life was going to drastically change. I was working for Goodyear and trying to be that corporate soldier. And I met this woman who totally changed my life. And I was shocked by that, because you always read about stuff like that and you never see it. And it happened to me. So that's probably one of my most memorable events. And we happened to be placed right beside each other as far as seating.
On a booked flight.
And I was going this way and my life went that way. In that moment, in Cleveland, the most romantic place in the world.
I love that story. What book would you recommend and why?
She's making us read 3 books right now. I think Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, The Millionaire Next Door. Those are way down there second. The first book you need to read is the Holy Bible. You read that, and I'm not talking about reading for the stories. Read it for the system of living. Whether you're a Christian or not, read the Holy Bible. It's an amazing document.
The only other one, I was going to say the ones you said, but it's probably more corporate, but written by a friend of mine, Trudy Bourgeois, and she wrote this book, Courageous Conversations. And it's corporate, but it's around how do we break down the walls and have these conversations about race and gender and what we're going through. And I find that so much of the books that I read going through corporate apply to me now, because even in our industry right now, I'm literally trying to break down those walls. I'm opening up dialogue around race and gender in an industry that doesn't necessarily want to talk about it as openly. And so to have those dialogues, I think, it was some of those types of things that I read even through my PepsiCo days. So Courageous Conversations is a good one I recommend.
What have you not done in life that you dream about often that you would like to do?
Retirement. Dream about it. Just sitting on a porch somewhere in the woods with no shirt on and just looking at nature. But what does it say in the good book? I can't remember how it goes. But the essence of it is there's a lot of work out there and workers are few. And we still see a lot of work out there, and I'm in my 60s and she is where she is. So there's a lot of work. So we're trying to duplicate our efforts in other people so they can help. And anywhere we find somebody who is like-minded and wants to help, we give them all the information we have, because there's so much to do. So much to do.
Yeah, we connected to this, and now they're part of our team, but it's a couple in Texas that were doing the same thing we were doing. We happened to cross paths at a show, and he's African-American, she's Asian. They're probably 15 years at least younger than us, but they were hustling, and we've just taking them in and just, helping to train them, and then that we're learning things from them too. But I look at, if we were actually doing this 15 years ago, that was us. So how do we get them ready? They're like-minded, love what we're doing. We share brands. And so as much as we can duplicate our efforts, then we can go sit on that porch overlooking the ocean, by the way, not in the woods.
I'll be in the woods. She'll be out there in the ocean.
The beauty, you guys will be together.
Yes.
Go 6 months in the woods, 6 months in the ocean.
There you go. See, that's the compromise.
And that'll work. Alan and Subriana, talk to a younger you. What advice would you give to a younger you?
For me, it would be slow down a little bit. I was always very, very serious and very just laser focused on whatever it was, whether it was rushing across Spelman's campus to go take a test, or, life was devastating if I made a B. I pledged a sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha, just like our vice president, and just laser focused on everything. And I realized that was always me. I literally can probably go back to the 4th grade and know that was how I was. Through when you're supposed to be having fun in college, I was like, nope, I've got to study. I've got to do this. And I was like that through corporate as well. And it comes in handy, obviously, learning the business. But with the younger me, I would just say, slow down, develop those relationships around you. And it has become critical to what we do now. But I wish I had been doing that a lot earlier.
I would say to a younger Alan, okay, you need to learn how to meditate. And I would have started meditating in my teens. The mind is a very powerful instrument, and you need to develop it and exercise it. And meditation does that. And the other thing I would have said to a younger self is, don't be so emotional. People are going to like you. They're going to not like you. They're going to not like you because of the shoes that you wear or the hue of your skin. That is not your problem. They have a problem with the hue of your skin, have them go talk to your creator, because he's the one who did it. You had nothing to do with it. So why are you upset about it? And that was a big deal for me. That stifled me for a decade. Ignore it. It's not worth it. You have things to do. Do what your creator wants you to do and forget about it.
Subriana, we're sorority sisters. So.
Oh, awesome. Very good.
What can we do right now to support Navigator Sales?
Well, I would say more so than Navigator, it would be supporting the foundation. It would be supporting that next generation of consumer packaged goods, entrepreneurs that deserve a spot on the shelf. Their cookie is better than Oreo. Their soda is better than Coca-Cola, whatever it is. Right? We want to support them and we want to give back to that community. And so I think supporting that through the foundation and donations to the foundation is how to help, because it doesn't help us, it helps all of us.
That foundation gives grants to these young entrepreneurs. This foundation goes to training. We're starting our virtual program in February. That foundation goes to attracting other assets to the foundation that can help our people with these great recipes. As the book says, given, it should be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So let's all give.
We are 24 hours from the foundation website. It might even open up tonight, and there'll be ways to donate and all of that, but it's Lighthouse Foundation.org.
We're going to switch roles right now. And the question is, if you conducted this interview, what is the one question you would have asked yourself? I want you to ask the question and answer it.
I guess the one question I would have asked Subriana and myself is, what's the one thing that you need to be successful in business? And I think the answer might shock people because it's so basic. And the people we see that are successful, they all have it. We see people who have money. We see people they're known, they're famous. We see all of that. The one thing you need to be successful, at least in the grocery business, the one thing you need, you got to have it, is patience. Patience with yourself, patience with the industry, patience with you developing the craft and the product that you need to be successful. Patience with how to do marketing, patience on how to do merchandising, patience on your finance company when you know you need $100,000 and they give you 20. It's going to take patience.
Yeah, I think for me, I would have asked maybe at what moment did you know this was it? Like Navigator was it? And I don't even know if I have the answer to that. That sounds like a good question to me. But as an entrepreneur, and I mentioned the ups and the downs, and people out there with recipes or ideas or game changers, and you just don't know, is this it? Like, is this the brand that's going to take me over the top? With Navigator, when I joined, I know I even said, well, I'll help you out a little bit, but I'm going to go get a real job. Mm-hmm. That was exactly what I said to him.
That's what I was working with when she came on. Now she owns most of the company.
But there's a moment where you realize that you can make a difference. And that moment came way before the money came, believe me. It was when you knew, all right, I'm on to something. We've got something here. We can make a difference. And once that light bulb went off for me and for any of the entrepreneurs, when that light bulb goes off, then you know that you've got something.
Mm-hmm.
We've come to the part of our interview. It's called Fun Facts Lightning Round. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I want you to give me very quick answers. If there's something you desire not to answer, feel free to say pass. And I want you each to be able to answer these questions, and they're going to be very, very quick. Again, if there's something you desire not to answer, feel free to say pass. Are you ready for the Fun Facts Lightning Round?
Sure.
I think so.
Your favorite color?
Green.
Pink.
Your first job?
Chuck E. Cheese.
Mowing lawns.
The last movie you saw?
Oh, Wonder Woman, 84.
Same thing.
You relax doing what?
Smoking cigars, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Your favorite singer or rapper?
Okay. Everybody who's alive today ain't gonna know who this is, but my favorite rapper is Kool Moe Dee.
Okay, I'm gonna say Janet Jackson.
Your favorite dance song?
It Takes Two.
Ain't no stopping us now.
What food you eat every week, no matter what?
Seems like salmon.
Bacon.
Yeah, that's true.
Work out or hit the couch?
Work out and hit the couch.
I'm more of a hit the couch person.
Your favorite month?
June.
January.
Alan and Sabrina, thank you so much for joining us on Black Entrepreneur Experience Podcast. Before we let you go, why don't you share with our audience the best way that they can connect with you and do business with your company? And feel free to give all your social media handles.
You can reach us at navigatorsales.com. Just hit contact. That'll come straight to us. You can go to the foundation at Lighthouse Foundation.org. And then our Twitter, Facebook handles are all at Navigator Sales.
Yep.
Thank you, Alan and Sabrina. That's a wrap.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Our guests have sent us so much swag, books, and giveaways this year. I can't wait to announce our monthly winner. So if you want exclusive content delivered right to your inbox and to enter into our monthly drawing, go to drfrancisrichards.com and subscribe to our mailing list. That's drfrancisrichards.com. drfrancisrichards.com. That's drfrancisrichards.com, and subscribe to our mailing list. We promise we will not spam you or sell your information.
Thank you for listening and subscribing to Black Entrepreneur Experience. We would love for you to leave a review and rating on iTunes and share with your friends. For show notes and more episodes, go to www.beepodcast.com. Join us next Wednesday, and remember, green is the new black. So keep your bank accounts and your business in the black.